Hello and welcome to the Tea Party Howdy channel. Well, it looks like the Democrats are up to their old tricks of setting up the election to say, we didn't lose. When they lose, Stacey Abrams, I didn't lose, I'm really the governor. Lady, you lost by a lot. Go home. No, I didn't lose. I want to be the vice president. Not a chance in this green earth that you're going to be the VP. So go home. No. Al Gore, I didn't lose. Revote, recount. They did recount. He kept losing. Hillary didn't lose. It was Russia. You mean the same Russia that you did 3.5 years of investigation and came up with nothing of collusion? And 3.5 years of investigation that we have, the rest of the people... Well, I can't even say the rest of the people have found out because they're still not reporting it in the mainstream media, which is, no. Durham has actually prosecuted the first person in the Russia, and it was on the side that said Russia was real. And it wasn't real. He lied. And I can't even quote the man, but it was something to the effect of, hey, my blank signature is all over those documents. Yeah, and he had to do a plea deal with Durham. Trump has a plan to steal the election. It's not clear the Democrats have a plan to stop him. Does he have a plan to steal it? You mean by having voter ID to prove who you are? And by making sure you vote at a voting booth and that it's you? Is his plan to steal it? Well, the only way he can steal it that way is by having people come out and vote for him. As compared to the people that say, no, you don't need voter ID. No, you can vote by mail even if it's not you. And no, we don't want to check the signatures. Yeah, that's the new one. They don't want the signatures checked. And the list goes on. And yet, they're lying. Trump has shown he's much better at crushing democracy than our institutions are at preserving it. Crushing democracy. Really? Was it Trump that said that the governors should make the decision for their states in a country called the United States of America? Or was it Trump that said, you have to wear masks for 3 months or more with no science to back up why we would need to wear them for 3 months or more, and no science to back up that the mask actually create a benefit? Because if you go to the CDC website, it clearly says these masks may protect you. Well, you may win the lottery. May isn't science, people. May is not documented data of science. It's a hypothesis. Step 3 of the scientific method. You've still got 3 more steps after that before you're done. It's not science when it says may. Again, you may win the lottery. So was that Trump or was that Biden? And the list goes on of what Trump... Was it Trump that deregulated, as in let businesses be free again to do their businesses? Or was it Biden and his old buddy Obama that kept piling on literally trillions of dollars of new rules and regulations each year, hammering businesses and giving us the great, not as in good, as in really, really big recession? Just like their hero, FDR, gave us the Great Depression. Not good. No, really, really long. Yeah. This compulsion to believe he's a fool has real cost. Oh, yes, it does. You should not believe anyone who's a fool who's able to make it to the top of the world power structure, which at this particular juncture in history is the presidency of the United States of America. Good or bad, they're never a fool. My only wish for the 2020 election was that it not turn out to be anything like the disaster that was 2016. It was only a disaster because the left wouldn't admit the obvious. They lost by a landslide in the Electoral College. And it was only a disaster because they had rioters on the streets on Inauguration Day. And it was only a disaster because you had all those protests with the little goofy hats. while they stomped their feet and go, we didn't lose. It was Russia. Russia. That's what it was. Indeed. So let's see what else he has to complain about. Let's see. Yet, as we head into the Democratic National Convention, online only. I wonder if it's going to be as successful as Comic-Con was. We've already seen almost everything that made our presidential cycle a nightmare and worse. Well, the nightmare's coming from you guys. Surprise, surprise. There are the ceaseless Russian attacks on democracy. Oh my God, they're still doing Russia. Is there no end to their inanity? Again, the Russia thing. The only person that's going to jail for it is the guy that lied and said it happened. Thank you, Durham. Get more. Please, get more. Watergate had all those people go to jail, and all they did was break into an office and look at some documents to see how he was going to campaign. Obama and Biden had spies up the yin-yang of the Trump camp, to which the media goes, no, and now it's totally been proven, and they're like, no, we're not going to talk about it. But this time, instead of WikiLeaks, the disinformation is being laundered into our political system through the House and Senate Republicans. No, you're doing the disinformation right now in your article, and you know it. You're not stupid, you're malicious. Big difference. There is Trump's refusal to release his tax returns. Do you know the first person to release their tax returns to the media was Richard Nixon, and he did it voluntarily? It was hardly a precedent by the president. You don't have to do it, so he doesn't have to, so shut your pie hole. And it's none of our business. As in business. It's his business, not our business, so it's none of our business. His tax returns don't affect our income. But now the Supreme Court has made sure taxpayers will not see the document until after the election. They're still not going to see it because it's none of our business. That's even after Trump has spent hundreds of millions in public funds and about a fourth of his presidency acting as Ronald McDonald with a putter. I don't remember seeing him with a putter or acting like Ronald McDonald. Hawking his own businesses while running a Washington, D.C. hotel that's more like a vacuum sucking up cash from supplicants and favor seekers. There's not going to be any documents. You see how there's underlines hundreds of millions of public funds? A fourth of his president? No, a fourth. That's a quarter. Well, he spent 3/4 fighting the complete lies and hoax of Russia. And, yeah, sorry. There was no Ronald McDonald dress-up. There was no putter. He's lying. Closest we've ever been to a dictatorship. Once again, you have to wear masks for 3 months or more with nothing to back it up. And let your governors decide, which one of those is the dictator again? You better use that mandate to make all those businesses switch to make these different medical things. You better do it. You know, I could just ask them instead. And he did, and they did. And eventually said, okay, fine, GM, would you do it? I'll use that little thing. But who's the dictator? Words mean nothing to these people, except give us more power. There is voter suppression. Yes, there is. In California, they have reduced the amount of places that you can go and vote. They are closing down voting booths in California. No better example of voter suppression than closing down the actual places you get to go and vote. But instead, oh, by the way, California's a Democrat-run state, in case you didn't know. So yes, there is voter suppression, and it's taking place in California under a Democrat rule, where they are they're closing hundreds, if not more, probably way more, voting booths. Yep. But instead of just preventing voting in key states, preventing voting by closing down the voting booths. Okay, yeah, got it. With needless ballot restrictions. Ballot restrictions. You need an ID to prove who you are. You need to have a signature match. You know, things like that. The Trump campaign is fighting all efforts to make voting in the middle of a pandemic. Is it the middle? Really? I think most of us are under the keen aware knowledge that it will end after the election is resolved, regardless of who wins. In the middle of a pandemic, and safer. 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 You know, this country was founded by people who took sail ships that had awful odds of making it to this continent. If you've seen the movie Frozen, that's a cartoon by Disney. I know. Her parents died because it was normal to die in sailing in those days. Hopefully still those days, not our days. And the world is dangerous. In the 1900s, you had polio. In the 1800s, you had scarlet fever, you had cholera, those were the big ones. You had malaria. All of these diseases. People are not immune to everything. Science doesn't solve jack. It just gives you things that go beep. Oh, where were we? The Trump campaign is fighting all efforts to make voting... something about the middle of a pandemic. Easier and safer. In the middle of a pandemic, easier is when your voting booth is open. When your station to go vote exists is when it's easier. When they close it and you have to search for another place to vote, that's what makes it harder. Including hobbling the U.S. Postal Service. They've been hobbled for a long time. Wake up and smell the coffee. And increasing the cost of mail-in voting. And the president isn't even hiding his goal, preventing voting by mail, because it's so full of fraud and scamsters, it's not even funny. So he can claim victory on election night, regardless of the eventual results. Eventual. You know, in California, they made it so that you can register on the day of, on election day. You can go register right then and then vote. Are they going to apply that to mail? Because how are you supposed to verify that? And you don't. And they know it. And there's the inflation of third-party candidates to help Trump a chance to slip through the Electoral College. Slip through? He stomped through last time. Though he has no chance of ever getting near 50% of the popular vote. I'm sorry, I don't trust you on numbers. Remember, you said he was going to lose last time, and he won by a landslide in the Electoral College. But this time, Republican operatives are actually trying to Mickey Mouse Kanye West onto the ballot. Mickey Mouse Kanye West. Are you insulting Mickey Mouse? The beloved character Mickey? Are you insulting Kanye West, the beloved Kanye West? Onto the ballot with bogus signatures in some cases. Bogus signatures in some cases. Let's talk about bogus signatures in some cases on those mail-in ballots. Let's talk about those, shall we? Oh, you don't want to? Oh, sorry. In an effort to hurt Joe Biden. Really? Maybe Joe Biden's just hurting himself by being Joe Biden. You could argue that all these plays by Trump and Republicans to rig an election are the flailing and dying movement. You could say that about the Democrats with the left, communist, socialist, Anaya, or Ayana, however you say her name, Presley, saying that she wants more riots, and how come she's not arrested for inciting a riot when she's inciting a riot? Yeah, that's flailing, baby. What else is Trump going to do, at least as the least popular incumbent of the century? So you're forgetting Obama's numbers at the same time. You should go back and look at Obama's numbers at the same time. I don't think he's the least popular incumbent. And Carter wasn't exactly dancing on the deck going, woohoo. Again, this is why I don't trust him with numbers. Of the country overseeing the worst job loss in U.S. history and the highest cootie death count in the world. Because many countries don't count the cootie death. Japan, they don't. Yeah. And you're blaming the job losses on him when he gave us the greatest economy in American history. And then the cootie comes along and all of the Democrat governors, then followed by the Republican governors, shut down the states, and you're going to blame him for that. It's not going to fly. It's not like fooling the voters. Yeah, you're not fooling the voters. They're not blaming him for the cootie that was brought to us by China, to which Joe Biden said that he wanted to make sure that the xenophobe in the White House doesn't ban them from coming in, to which he only had to do a 180 on that later after, yeah. And don't forget Nancy Pelosi was in Chinatown saying, come on down, don't be a racist pig. Yeah, this is the people that will be put in power if Biden wins. While it's true that Biden has maintained a more convincing lead over Trump in national polls than Hillary did 4 years ago, polls of the battleground key states this month look almost identical to the political that pitted Trump against Clinton in August 2016, except Trump is doing slightly better. Yeah, sucks to be you, huh? The worst thing 2020 has in common with 2016 is this. Too many people believe that just because a guy known for bankrupting casinos and swindling veterans who signed... Are we still talking about Biden? No, that was his son that was swindling other countries and getting all that money. That's right. He got all those billions of dollars from China and all that money from the Ukraine. That. Forgot. Sorry. Okay. Momentary lapse of reason. Sign up for his fake university. Biden has a fake university too? Oh my gosh, I didn't know. Should be rejected in a massive, undeniable landslide? He will be. And this leads to the greatest danger for democracy faces. You know, we're not a democracy, dude. I get sick of hearing that. It's a democratic republic. There's a huge difference. There's a huge difference. You should learn that. Apparently, you're one of the people that never said the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic, not to the whatever, and to the republic. Yeah, that's what happens if you skip this Pledge of Allegiance. You don't even know what country you're in. Underestimating Donald Trump. Okay, that's enough of that. I could read the whole article, but you can see it is lies, 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 lies. Yeah. Underestimating Trump is dangerous. Especially so quick, throw out as many lies as you can. Populist dictators for dummies. Okay. Well, I guess if Biden wins, we'll have to see what that's like. And on it goes. We'll see you in the future. Be careful out there. You are being lied to a lot.